Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Sam. I am going to show you all of the ficus I have today, and I'm going to also introduce you to my most favorite top wish list that I got recently. I'm very excited about it. I will be going over their basic care. For the most part, it's all the same for all of them, but I'll still kind of tell you what I do, and hopefully you will find a new ficus to love. So let's just get right into it because I have over 10 varieties and I'm excited to show them to you. So first I want to start off with my smallest, kind of. This is my Ficus benjamina Dorado, and I just fell in love with it because of these leaves that are so variegated. Let's see if I can show you guys. I just love, love, love those leaves so much. They're so unique. One of my favorites, just of the like benjamina variety. I have noticed with this newer growth, it's not as variegated, so I'm going to try to get some brighter light. All winter it lived inside and it didn't love it. It didn't really do anything. So then I put it out on my south facing covered porch. It's in full shade right now. But I think I might move it out to a little bit brighter light, maybe just some morning light to help increase the variegation. But I still think it's a super cute plant. I'm excited to see how it grows over the years. Hopefully someday it'll be a nice big tree, but I know that will take a while. So anyway, Ficus benjamina Dorado. Next up, I kind of debated showing you guys this one second just because it's amazing, and this was my top wish list plant forever. And I finally got it, and I'm beyond happy with it. This is the Ficus Shivereana, and I know that it's not like uncommon in some parts of the world, but here where I live, it is very rare and expensive. And so I was so happy to find it, and I cannot wait to watch it grow. It is definitely a baby, but it seems very healthy. It has new growth coming in right here, and it looks happy. So we will see how it does. I'm currently keeping it under my Rousseau grow light, and I think that is where I'm going to keep it for good because I know that it will get the right light that it needs, and I don't have to worry about it being outside, tipping over or anything. I just want to treat this with as much care as possible. But yeah, super, super amazing variegation. I mean, one of the most beautiful variegated plants I've ever seen. And I love it. So Ficus Shivereana. All right, next up is my sad looking Ficus triangularis Variegata, Variegated Ficus triangularis. This one was literally sticks a few months ago. After I put it outside for the summer, it started pushing out all this new growth. I now have it in morning sun for most of the day. Well, not most of the day, in the morning. And then it's shaded for the rest of the day. And it lost all of its leaves because I didn't water it for too long. This one likes to stay a little bit more on the damp side. You can see the backside is like still pretty much bare, but we're just gonna let it live its life however it wants to. It has a lot of new growth coming in all along here. Pretty much every single branch has some new growth. So that's very promising that it will bounce back. So if you own one of these and it dropped all of its leaves, don't throw it away because it will bounce back if you give it the right light and the right care. I just try to keep this a little bit more on the damp side. I don't let it dry out completely like I do with most of my other ficus, and that seems to keep it a little bit more happy. It will just drop leaves so quickly though, so make sure you stay on top of it if you own one. But they're so beautiful, so I think that they're worth the little extra effort and care. So this is Ficus triangularis Variegata. All right, next up, before we get to the bigger stuff, this is my little twig, but this was a very expensive twig, and it's also just another one of my prized possessions. I love this plant so much. It is the variegated Ficus lyrata, so the variegated fiddle leaf fig. A lot of people have never even seen these before. This one was also a very exciting find. Both this one and the Shivereana came from Hannah at We Are Plant Lovers. She has been able to source some of my wish list plants for me, and I'm so thankful for that. There is new growth coming. Very, very excited about that. See if I can show you right in there. It's opening. So that's super exciting. I also have this one under my Rousseau grow light. And again, I think my ficus respond to that light so well. So I will try to keep them under there as much as possible, especially these smaller, more expensive ones. So if you own one of these, I would love any tips you might have for me. Throw them in the comments because I am new to this one for sure. I mean, I obviously have my giant Ficus lyrata back there, but it's definitely not going to be the same care as this one. This is going to be a little bit more challenging. So let me know if you have had success with one of these. I will take all the information I can get. But for now, it's happy under the grow light and I'm going to see what it does. I'm excited to see what this new leaf looks like, if it's as variegated as these other two, since it hasn't been growing in greenhouse conditions. It's just been in my house, so we will see. But variegated Ficus lyrata. Okay, next up we got another semi-sad looking one. This is my Ficus umbellata, and I put it outside on my south-facing porch, and it's in full shade, but it also did not care for the transition. So quite a few, well, not quite a few, it lost two lower leaves, and I took those off. And then this is the leaf that is kind of struggling right now, but I'm leaving it on there until it dies on its own. But I did decide to pinch off the growth point that was here because it hadn't been doing anything for like months. And now I have 1, 2, 3 new growth points in there. Hopefully you can kind of see that too. 1, 2, those little nubs at the base of the leaves are new growth points. So those will be new branches. So that's pretty exciting. I would love this to have like a full canopy and be like a very umbrella look. I have found this one to be somewhat easy. All of my ficus are kind of spider mite magnets, so I have to watch that carefully, and I treat it with Dead AF from the plant bar, and that always works for me. I just have to kind of stay on top of it. But this one is no exception. I definitely have had to treat spider mites on this one, and you can see how some of the leaves have the speckling from those pests. But other than that, I'm excited to see what this one does. It's more of a like rescue project. So I'm hoping to see it fill out and be happy soon. So Ficus umbellata, really cool plant. Really fun when they get really big. All right, next up, another one from Hannah at We Are Plant Lovers. This is the Ficus ruby. And this one is so gorgeous. It's definitely not as dark as it was when I first got it straight from the greenhouse, but I'm gonna get it in a little bit brighter light too. Right now it's also on my south facing covered porch in full shade all day, but I am planning on moving it more to morning sun to hopefully get some more deep color. I did notice when it was under the grow lights, it was a deeper pink as well. So I think it just wants a little bit more light, but this one is pretty decent size. It's not tall or anything yet, but it's nice and full, and it hasn't lost too many leaves, which is good for ficus in the transition to your home. If you can keep them from losing too many leaves, that's a big plus. So yeah, Ficus ruby. Okay, we're getting into the bigger ones now, so I will also show you a shot of the full plant as well, but I still wanted to show you some close-ups of these. This is the Audrey, and it has fuzzy leaves, just dark green. It's pretty similar to the altissima, except for these leaves are soft and the altissima is not, and it also does not have any of the variegation. So I know that these two can be confused often, but this is the Audrey, and I love it. Super soft, fuzzy leaves. The bark is more white. Let's see if you can see that. Like right here. The bark is more white compared to any of the other ficus, and it's just a really, really pretty plant with the veining underneath being a lighter color as well. Love this plant so much. This is 3 plants in 1 pot. And I'm gonna just kind of keep it in this full form. I don't have any plans to cut it, to prune it up to tree form or anything. I might eventually, but I like it in a full form right now. So that is Ficus altissima. Love it. All the new growth has kind of gone crazy as well, being outside. It emerges a little bit brighter green and darkens over time. All right, so since we were just talking about it, this is the altissima, and you can see how it is very different from the Audrey when they're side by side. It has this bright yellow variegation. This is actually the altissima yellow gem, and I love it. This is in standard form. Well, it's going to be. I'm going to trim it up eventually into look like a tree, but it's just the one trunk, and then it branches up at the top into 3 separate branches. I need to rotate this outside because it's getting bare on the backside, but I don't really mind because I always have it either against a wall or in a corner anyway. So this is such a beautiful one. These leaves are not fuzzy. They're smooth, and so if you're ever questioning whether it's an Audrey, because sometimes these altissima don't have very much variegation yet. If you look at these older leaves, you can't really tell as much, but if you feel them, these will be smooth and the Audrey will be fuzzy. So that is how you tell the difference. So beautiful. This one is one that opened up outside. It loves being outside. So we also live in zone 5B in Omaha, Nebraska, and so we get really humid, hot summers. So as long as I keep them watered, everyone's always happy to be in the shade. Okay, so this one is huge. This is my Ficus Burgundy, elastica Burgundy. This one has grown so fast. It is probably the fastest grower of them all. And it is doing pretty well. It also dealt with spider mites, but you know, what can you do? You just treat them when you get them. So this one has been happy outside as well. It's still full to base all the way around, and it's 2 stalks in here, and I'm going to leave it that way as well. This one, and as well as all the rest I've shown so far, I water when they're dry almost completely, about 2/3 down or so, and they're all in a really chunky mix. Usually it's about equal parts perlite, potting soil, and orchid bark is the mix I do for my ficus, and they seem happy in that. If you can get your hands on the Soul Soils houseplant mix, they will love that even more. But yeah, so for now, these bigger ones I haven't even repotted yet, so they're all just in like a chunky mix. All right, and second to last is my Ficus Tineke. And I love this plant so much. It's another huge one. I will show you all of it in a second. But look at that variegation, you guys. Oh, it is just the most beautiful plant. Every leaf is different. Every leaf looks like a watercolor painting. I am obsessed with this plant. But you can see, I'm gonna show you the difference between this one and then the ruby. So this is the Tineke and this is the ruby. So you can see how different they are in person. So the Tineke leaves will come out and emerge a little bit pinker, and I think that's when people get a little bit confused, but they will fade to this creamy color. The ruby will come out really dark pink and stay pink, and it's just a lot darker, you can tell. So yeah, these are both amazing plants. I give all of my Ficus Foliage Pro, and I will link that down below. I think they all absolutely love the higher nitrogen content of that, and they just are all pretty happy. So next I will show you my Ficus lyrata. That is my big one in the corner. So here's my Ficus lyrata, and it is the one I've had the longest. It's about 4 years old. I bought it in tree form, and it has just been living in this corner its whole life. I do have a grow light above it to kind of help it grow more up instead of out towards the windows, and it is helping, but I also do have it tied everywhere. And there were a few spells where I forgot to water it a few times and it got too dry and a lot of the leaves back here fell off. But we're just gonna let it do its thing. So that is my Ficus lyrata, and that is the last ficus I have. All right guys, so that is all of the ficus I own. Let me know which one's your favorite down in the comments, and then if you know of one that I don't have yet, let me know, because I'm always looking to add to my collection. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and then head over to Instagram and follow me over at HOUSEPLANT. I do daily question and answers and stories, and it's just a really fun community over there too. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I hope that you found a new ficus to love, and I will talk to you guys later.